So I'm here today with John Cullen, our women's first grade coach of the Ryde Hockey Club, and John's going to talk to us today about outletting.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, so I think the principal reason that we focus on holding the ball in these back areas are to create space somewhere that we can actually penetrate moving forward. So the second part of creating that space, I think it's an important message, is that the reason we're creating that space is to actually create an attack. So we're not only creating space here that we can move forward, but the purpose of when we get here, what do we do with it? And that's the second part, the benefit of good outletting. So I think they're the two main things. The two types of setups predominantly are back four or a back three, where we have a central defender as opposed to two traditional fullbacks. The third option is basically a back four with a transition to a back three, and that basically is one of these guys through the holding pattern stepping forward into midfield, and you end up with a back three but you start with a back four. The benefits being that the opposition think you've got a back four, so there's a benefit there. Some of the principles of or key concepts of outletting are that the side that the ball starts on is generally the side that you want to penetrate on. So the concept of going around the back and penetrating is probably not ideal because of the opposition pressing into this side of the field. So the concept of going back, so we go across two passes and then back one, and then we outlet. And the principle of this guy should be higher on the field than this guy. So wherever the ball came from, you want to receive in a higher position on the field. So they're two things. The option of where to outlet, you can either outlet on the sides, you can, on a back three you would have two screens who basically become your two centre halves, and obviously with the opposition striker here you've got two options as opposed to a traditional centre half option. So they're options. Another option is to, with the transition, is that after this pass is made, that this one steps forward and this one releases there and then transitions to the middle, and this one transitions to midfield, and that's the transition from a back three to a back four to a back three. The other way to do it may be out wide. So an outside half might actually come up into this zone, and this one will shift to that position. And so once again you'll have a back three with your flank half now in midfield, your traditional centre half the other midfield, and at this point you would ideally like your traditional inners moving out and moving up. And so what you predominantly have there, or ideally you have there, is almost, depending how far infield that one can get, is you've got a back three again in midfield. So then there's the opposition midfield to eliminate, and you're in the same position you were there, but you've eliminated the front three opposition. The best pass that you can make when outletting is circle to circle, and that is the best pass always, but it's very hard to achieve. The second best pass is anywhere forward, and when you're coaching these skills of outletting, you must be coaching your athletes to be thinking to go forward with the ball primarily. Your second option is lateral, and obviously your third option is back. So the key with going back is being patient, and you see a lot of teams say that they're outletting well, but they're really just getting it across and hitting it upfield, and what happens in here is a lucky dip. And I think good outletting is that this back group, whether it be a back four or back three, however they're set up, is that they have to go into a holding pattern. It could go any of these passes can be made, and they have to be patient to move the opposition around. And when these guys become undisciplined and run out of the line, then gaps are achieved, and that's the space that I was talking about earlier about the concept of outletting to find space. So other ways to outlet are through traditional midfield, which we'll go on to a bit more room here, is that you might have some midfield leading back here, and the ball might come across and we outlet here. Outside half goes forward and we penetrate in that method. So that's another way that we do it. Another way that we can outlet is that we play our central striker back. So wing striker comes in, we got three working as a group, midfield rolls out, central striker goes into here, and once again same outlet but different person. This one will get drawn in there and the ball might go there and so forth. So the key, I think, is variation. So if you can go out wide, you can go through the two screens, you can go through traditional midfields hook leading, and I think the key is to have variety. The higher you play, obviously coaches study opposition, and if you're outletting through one passage, outside half as an example, if you're consistently doing that, good teams will close that down, and you need to have a secondary and third option that are worked on at training so that they actually work in a game. So this was supposed to be a 2 or 3 minute clip, so I hope I haven't gone on too long. If you've got any questions, just come back to Tim or I, and I could talk about this for a week. There's plenty more to expand on, but they're the key ingredients, I think, to good outletting. Cheers.
Fantastic. Thanks, Doggy.